I'm Domenico Avatino, candidate number 3474, and I'm in Miss Lee's ACE Media class for this year. So this is my CCR and review of my film overall. I would like to start out with my film's title and general description, which will be built upon throughout the course of the CCR. So generally, my film is about war, and it's not about old war, it's about modern war, which I think is something big about my film that really makes it stand out. And I will get into more of that further on in this video. So the title of my film is Radiant Aftermath. And the reason that I chose to name it this is because I wanted viewers to have the assumption that there is some sort of large radiant thing that is going to happen later on, which infers, if you dig deep enough, nuclear warfare. And nuclear warfare is something that people have feared for hundreds of years now, and it's been a big issue with modern society and something that people have been worried about with the past few conflicts we've had. And I actually originally wanted to make a film involving cars because I had wanted to make something along the lines of Fast and Furious, but it came to me after helping my friend Marco Valetic film that this is going to be really hard to do, and it's going to be hard to find people that are willing to put their cars in this film and devote their time to drive out and help me, which is a big reason why a lot of my older blog posts are actually crossed out with the strike through and changed to what I have revised them as. So a big thing that inspired me to make this film was war movies such as All Quiet on the Western Front, Hurt Locker, Generation Kill, etc. And I am going to address now how this uses conventions and represents specific social groups or issues. So a big issue this film is representing and encompassing is warfare and modern warfare. And it is portraying social groups as many of us in Western countries know them, that the big NATO groups are the hero, the good guys, the peacekeepers, the United Nations, etc., and that the Eastern countries such as Russia, Asia, Iran, China, Asian countries, Syria, every one of those nations that is portrayed oftentimes in the West as bad. And personally, my opinion on this is not how I'm representing in the film, but I believe that by representing it this way in my film, I am meeting this social convention, this norm, because my target audience is obviously intended to be Western youth, such as UK, America, and really just any other country that would be interested in such a thing. And I know in America, it's a big assumption that there's going to be war sometime, or there's going to be civil unrest, there's going to be domestic unrest, foreign unrest, however people like to see it. And that is why I am targeting the specific audience, because I know there are both youth, adults, teens that want to see something like this produced, because it's very relatable and it's truly something that could happen, God forbid. My product realistically engages with audience by making them feel a personal and emotional connection to what is on screen. So when I display the scene where the two soldiers are isolated in a field in what is assumed to be a civilian house or some sort of field with a village, because there is a house in the background with dim lighting, it's just relatable because it makes people think, is there a civilian in that house? Have the people been cleared out? Why are the soldiers in the field behind this house? What are they doing? Why are they so quiet? They're sniping. Who are they sniping? And that's war. That's what I want them to know, is that there's a lot going on and there's a lot people don't know. And through use of the soldiers that may not be familiar with people who would be watching the film speaking German, I just felt that it would really raise those questions, and that is what I want. So I integrated technologies such as editing softwares like CapCut. CapCut was the main software I used because as somebody who's not very well versed in those things, I felt that it would be best to just access something on my phone. And after research, I found that CapCut is a very good option for people like me who don't have the time, brain power, or overall money to spend on a crazy editing software like Adobe that would allow me to make something maybe higher grade, and I felt that I used it to its full potential and did what I could. I did color corrections, I did blurs, I did editing, transitions, I did captions, whatever I could to make the film feel like a real film, I tried to do to the best of my ability. And as a real media text, my product would likely be distributed to youth, to teenagers, to adults, to anyone who really just understands and knows that these things are possible, and just anyone in general who can relate to it, because as you can see at the end of my film, both soldiers end up presumably dying, and you can see the one soldier, Hans, gets taken into the building at gunpoint, which you can very, very vividly see in the background, which I wanted because I want people to start to question, like, wow, how did his comrade not see this? And you can tell the two soldiers have a brotherly bond, because when the soldier I was playing, who's unnamed, is sniping and says, wow, this shot is hard to make, his comrade Hans turns to him and says, good, German, and proceeds to pick up his radio and repeat the word good into the radio. And I really wanted that to resonate with the audience, because he's reassuring his comrade that everything will be okay. And ultimately, when they both die in the end of this intro, I want people to be left with a sort of bad taste in their mouth and know that this is going to be a harsh film. And that's really what I'm going for. You know, there was challenges along the way, there was problems finding actors, but in the end, it all came together, and I'm glad to have had the help of my friend Lucas Marzo, Ella Sky, Amanda Zabad, and everyone that I could use to both film and act within this film, and I felt that everything turned out great, and I really did enjoy watching it afterwards. And a lot of things turned out good to my advantage, especially the lighting.